All right, comrades, welcome back.
What up?
Episode 5. Stephen, Max, thanks for joining.
Any day, man.
Yep.
Topic we've had on our minds for a little while is dogmatic Marxism and dogmatic Marxists and a certain sort of demand for ideological purity among leftists and a complete excommunication of that person because of a slight deviation in ideas. So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit and maybe give a few examples, or maybe you might know something, Stephen.
Well, when we're talking about dogmatic Marxists, would you say that applies to mainly the left that exist in the first world?
Yeah.
It could definitely, you could say it's a first world thing. You know what I mean?
Western Marxism.
Depending.
Or like, no, they're just bourgeois in general.
Well, I don't even know if that's entirely true. I think they just have a certain sort of, you have a certain type of person. And I guess, yeah, I'm personally guilty of it at one point, and, I matured as a Marxist and as a person. But yeah, it's just like, if, take China, for example. If you think China is socialist, or if you think they're capitalist, I happen to believe China is building socialism. So when you talk to a comrade or a Maoist or an orthodox Marxist or whatever you want to, pick or a Hojaist, pick your different ideology. And, there's certain people, confine themselves into categories, confine themselves into that specific ideology or that specific sort of variation of Marxism, and they let it affect their view or their outlook on the way things are, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I would say they have like a very idealistic approach to what socialism is, and and on what countries are achieving socialism.
Right.
Like, two words I also describe it to as purist and naive.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, China's a good example on this, and I mean, it's an extremely difficult country and a difficult system to understand and study. I think we had somebody comment on our last cracking open a cold one about how that private property, just because there isn't private property, it's still privately used. And I find that an interesting statement, because the transfer from one social system to another occurs when social class with its allies overthrows another. So under socialism, the working class have state power, and in the case of China, all land is owned by the people. The constitution of that country, goes on to state that all urban land is owned by the state. There's no private ownership of land in urban areas. In other words, the concept of freehold as we know it in Britain does not exist in the People's Republic of China. Moreover, the Chinese government, while liberalizing its property laws, has still preserved its right to reclaim any property from any individual, as long as there is what might be called in English a public policy consideration. So, but, you know, I mean, this isn't really, you know, even necessarily about China. It's about the sort of people that just won't even bother listening to hearing any of this, right? Like, they just don't want to have any bit to fucking hear of it because it flies in the face of what they believe and what they probably feel that they're supposed to believe, and that sort of projection, like, holy fuck, if I support Xi Jinping and the Communist Party of China and the People's Liberation Army, then, you know, fuck, I'm a bad Maoist, or I'm a bad Marxist, or whatever. And, you know, no, you're not. Xi Jinping is a lifelong Marxist-Leninist, and he's, you know, worked diligently his whole life to not only bring back Marxism in China, but to elevate China into the next generation of Chinese socialism.
Right.
But, you know, there's other examples. But, you know, it's I just think it's pretty toxic to not try to study and learn what a certain system is doing. And it's pretty, I don't know, it's dogmatic, and it's poor Marxism, in my opinion. I don't know.
Well, especially as Marxists, you know, we should be studying and criticizing and, you know, analyzing every system, you know, that exists, and not just
each other,
give off
ourselves, you know,
right.
in that respect.
Yeah, you can't just, you know, give off a judgment, you know, but not, you know, actually looking into it, which is what most leftists do.
Right.
How about there, Max? Are you still alive?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Making sure we didn't lose you. Yeah, I would also say that you know, this is also goes, you know, for North Korea, you know, or any other, you know, country that is
North Korea
in socialism today. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw some comment on a thread, like, insulting, you know, Kim Jong-un. You know, like, he's the only fat person in his country, while everybody's starving, when there's no fucking starving people in North Korea. There's no homeless in North Korea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always very shocking to me that, you know, the same American people that yell fake news, you know, don't have a problem, you know, listening to the news when it comes to talking about North Korea or, you know, or some other country, you know, then they just suck that information right up. It's always often surprising.
Speaking of dogmatic Marxists, or, well, I'd probably call them liberals, all the liberals cheering that Marxist memes got taken down. How dare they? Yeah. How dare they put women at the forefront of their Marxism the way a Marxist-Leninist should?
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty, I thought that was pretty awesome. And fucking pretty toxic shit. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to add, comrades. This wasn't necessarily going to be a 8-hour long episode to begin with. But did you guys have anything else to add? I appreciate you guys coming back to hang out and chat, though.
No, I have nothing else to add. What about you, Max? We haven't heard from you this much this podcast.
Yeah, I'm set.
Jesus Christ. All right. You've been smoking that devil's lettuce. So. But all right, comrades, I appreciate you all joining us, and look forward to the next one for sure.
Yeah, totally.